Our topic today is one of those kind of buzzwords in the world of advancement or development, and that is, are we doing a friendraiser or are we doing a fundraiser? And it depends on who's at the table, right? A board committee is going to have a certain lens that they're going to look through. A staff team is going to have a certain lens that they're going to look through. A volunteer crew is going to have a different lens that they're going to look through. And your jobs are to be the guiding light. Your jobs revolve around making sure that you're hoping and helping them ask the right questions and answer those questions. There is nothing wrong with fundraisers. Nothing at all. But don't call them a fundraiser. Don't have your board expecting that this fundraiser was going to make X amount of dollars. And that's where the education side for you as the leaders in your groups has to come into play. Use your development committees wisely. Let them become your voice. You may be the oracle, but they have to be the voice because they're the board. Okay? In our last session, I wanted to hammer home for you, and I'm going to hammer it home today, and I'm going to hammer it home in every single session. There are 3 guiding principles that you as development officers have got to derive your organizations with. If I were the old teacher in me, I would have had a quiz on this for the 4 people that have come back, and thank you for the 4 that have come back. And by the way, congratulations on hitting your end of the year goal. Way to go. For time eternal in the world of advancement, there are 3 guiding principles. Who from our last session may remember one of those guiding principles? Everything you do every decision you make must be mission driven. It must be mission driven because, as you'll see in the packet that I gave you, that's the reason, number one reason why somebody reaches into their pocket, takes their hard-earned dollar, and hands that money to you as a non-for-profit because they believe in your mission. It's a very simple. I'm an old, failed history teacher coach, and I like to keep things real simple and basic. The number one reason why people write a check is they believe in your mission. So you have to mirror that activity. Every guiding principle is formed off of mission, mission, mission. We're going to have sometime this year, we're going to have a great little sit down here, and all we're going to talk about is vision statements, mission statements, and strategic planning. That's a little spark for you for look forward to something on the calendar. The second big guiding principle you must make your decisions first and foremost guided by your mission, and secondly by your constituency. Okay? If you don't have something attached to your mission that you're trying to raise money for, you have crossed the boundary now and you've become a check chaser. And that's the kiss of death for a not-for-profit. Donors can smell a check chaser a mile away. Keep in mind your constituencies. Keep in mind your constituencies. Your worksheet today and the thing we're going to talk about in the I spectrum talks about constituencies, so we're going to get to that.
Can I interrupt?
Of course.
What exactly do you mean? Are you talking about the demographics that we provide services to?
They're a constituency. Your board, your alumni. your volunteers, your parents, in your case, people who have attended your seminars, people who have gone through your training, staff. Your constituencies are a massive bubble. But sometimes you're looking at people that you're like, why am they're nice people, but they're not really advancing the dial for me, right? Constituent sensitive. In your case, as I heard you proclaim your story, a primary constituency for you, government, your aldermen, your councilmen, your city council, that's a primary constituency for you. You should be sending coffee cake over to that councilman's office on a weekly basis. Okay, know your primary constituents. And then your final, and really, I am not in a pulpit right now. I have to make sure I speak carefully. But all you have to do is look at what's going on nationally. Okay? You must be fiscally responsible. People don't put their hand in their pocket to take money that they worked hard all week for and give it to you so that you can drive down the street in a Jaguar. That's happened recently. I'm not telling anybody any tales out of school here. You can't have dollars attached to the word be and not say there's some problems here with regard to fiscal responsibility. We had this factoid that fell out on the table in our last session. 70% of the non-for-profits in the United States operate on a shoestring budget below $100,000 a year. You're counting on that donor believing that you are a steward of their gift. You have to take that responsibility true to the heart. Your noble heart has to be driving you with regard to asking for money. That's really important. Those are the guiding principles. If you attend the next 5 sessions, those 3 principles will be up there every time. I can't hammer them home enough. I taught sophomores American history. I know you've got to hit them with the velvet hammer. That's it. All of your decisions must be built off of mission, your constituency, and fiscal responsibility. People write checks for 3 reasons. They believe in your mission, they believe in your leadership. Would you believe right now in the leadership of any organization in Minnesota? No. They have a long road to hoe to come back to getting trust back. Fiscal responsibility. The greatest gift of all is the gift that says 99 cents out of that dollar is going to mission delivery. You know who's the closest thing right now on national television on a daily basis that hits that? Tunnel to Towers. Tunnel to Towers. That man has fulfilled that notion. Tunnel to Towers is the man whose brother died in the 2001 attack on New York, and he has made it his goal to make sure that all veterans, first responders, families affected by that have a place to live. He's buying up hotels all over America to get the veterans. You could take a page out of his model. Okay? All right.
What's the name of that?
Tunnel to Towers.
Also, you had said that people write checks for 3 reasons. You gave 2. You said intermission, leaders, and who's the third?
They believe that you are responsible with their money given to you.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's why non-for-profits that don't produce annual reports, that's a red flag flying. If you don't produce an annual report, something's wrong. I don't care if it's 1 letter from the CEO. Doesn't have to be, in the old days it used to be glossy and 27 pages of pictures of kids in swimming pools. And please tell your story from mission, leadership, and fiscal responsibility. In the leadership side, there's a reason why every single website, every single annual report, every single special event has a page that shows these are the board, this is the staff. Because people sit there and go, I didn't know that Tom was on the board. I know Tom. I might want to talk to Tom about this. Here's a little thought bubble for you. We talk about it every time. People give to people. Okay? And that is a perfect segue for us then into what we want to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about the I spectrum, gift solicitations, the quiet costs that are sitting in there, and I have a dummy report for you in the back for you in terms of an event report. The I spectrum attaches itself to today's topic. We said to ourselves, what's the difference between a friend-raiser and a fundraiser? The difference between a friend-raiser and a fundraiser, ladies and gentlemen, lies right there. Approximately 27 cents on the dollar. And if you do your budget, if it's 27 cents in the ratio that you're spending to raise a dollar, that's a fundraiser. If you're spending 27 cents or more, this is fund. This is, if you're spending a dollar to raise a dollar, that's friend. That's your bogey, 27 cents. For those of you who have to put reports together for your development committee, for those of you who want to go in front of the board and pitch an event, make sure you go in and let them know right out of the blocks. This is a friend raiser versus a fundraiser. I gave you a sheet in your packet that's called the I spectrum. The first thing we do in the world of development is we're constantly looking to identify our constituencies. Constant. You should have it as a subtopic for your team meeting on a monthly basis. You have to know, is your gold mine growing or shrinking? You have to identify. So on this one it shows, who are our constituencies? What roles do they serve? Who is our competition? You're in a dog-eat-dog world. In the world of philanthropy, over 75 solicitations occur on an annual basis. There's a lot of people that want your money. And if you're in the development world, there's a lot of people you're competing against. Know your competition, but identify your constituencies. If you're a school, alumni, captains of teams, you should have 35 groupings. If you're in the housing world, Lowe's, local hardware stores, the trades, local carpenters. I was able to build a kitchen in a women's shelter because I found a collaborative effort between the Carpenters Union apprentices and Lowe's, who were getting rid of old stock. They said, we'll donate those kitchens. They're just off the floor. Apprentices came in, put them in. Okay? Identify your constituencies. Big. That is not fundraising, but it's a task that has to occur. Okay? The next grouping is inform. I could ask Hannah to come up and spend a half hour talking about the importance of having a razor-sharp, lightning approach to information in its delivery. Don't meander. Nobody wants word salad. Make sure that your case for support is mission-driven, that it speaks the language of your constituency, and that it always has a factoid in there about your dollars are in fact going to move the mission forward. Be concise. Inform. Who are you going to inform? You're going to inform differently depending on who you identified as your constituencies. A letter home to a preschool parent is different than a letter that you're sending home to a donor. Know your audiences. Here we go now. We're sliding towards, is informing fundraising or fundraising? It's a gray area. Yeah, you got to inform, because the next one is really important. Inviting people. And inviting can be everything from volunteer to hand out bags on a Saturday before kids go back to school. It could be come and help us out at the holidays with a cookie walk. It can be a lot of different things, but invite. Because this is now plowing into social studies, sciences that say if someone is willing to give you their time, they're going to want to make sure that it's a success. Right? So this gets into that area now of the 3 T's, the 3 W's. This is where you're starting to cross the line. Time, talent, and treasure, or work, wealth, and wisdom, whichever you like in those buzzwords. But you're inviting someone now to give their time. Harvard did a study about 10 years ago that asked the 500 top CEOs in America what was the most valuable asset in their day, and their response unequivocally was their time. If they're willing to give your time, they're willing to then move on. If they're willing to sit on a committee, then they're going to share with you their talent, and eventually that talent will spread over into that treasure. Okay? Work, wealth, and wisdom. If you invite them and you're lucky enough for them to in fact say yes, they want to be involved, you're now crossing over into the area of, so this is really the funds side, this is really the friend side heading that way. You might find that somebody just keeps getting mail from you on an annual basis and they never darken your door. But they never call and say, 86 me from the mailing list. Because they happen to like reading your newsletter, or they happen to know what's going on. Well, I can share something with you folks. Those people you've identified, you continue to inform and you continue to invite. %50 of all planned gifts that come across the transom of your organization come in via serendipity. They come in because some little old lady in Nebraska just kept reading your newsletter, just kept believing in what you were doing. And when she sat down with her with her financial planner, she said, please leave $20,000 to St. Mary of the Poor. They do good work for those kids. 50%. Now, I'm not bashing the Planned Giving Council of America. We have to have planned giving officers. But at the same time, 50% of them come just out of serendipity. I used to sit in my office and my development officer would walk in and hand me important mail. She had a yellow envelope that was important mail. And I can't tell you the number of times we would get a letter from an attorney and we'd run it back through the system. Any gifts? Not really. But they just left us $50,000 in their will. Don't underestimate the importance of fundraising. Too oftentimes development officers really zero in on, I gotta sell 36 tables this week. That gala is gonna bomb. Well, yeah, that's for real. That's a for real intent because that's part of your job. But be precise in your delivery of mission, constituency, and fiscal responsibility in all of these. If they agree to be involved, treat them as an asset. Treat them as an asset. They have now crossed the boundary. You can take credit for this in your annual report. $15 an hour for volunteer services. That's a soft credit. You should send that out in your annual. Your CEO or director of development or director of volunteer operations should have a letter that goes out annually that says, thank you so much. 47,000 hours of operation at $15 an hour. You've saved us or given us the gift of, I can't do math that quickly, this amount. That is really important. Once you have them cross that dotted line, you've got them. But make sure you treat them with respect. I walked into a room one time where we were having 8 women put together a gala booklet. And the booklet was the invitation, it was the special, it was the silent auction, it was, it was one of those, holy shnikes, this is a lot of stuff here. And I said to the lady at the end of the table who was going like this, I said, didn't they bring you up the sponge with the water bottle on it? Oh no. I went downstairs to the development office. I said, Mrs. Carr is upstairs licking envelopes. Respect your volunteers. Please. Have coffee for them. Right? Make sure that if the bathrooms are usually locked, nobody wants to walk in and say, do you have a key for the bathroom? No volunteer is going to knock your toilets off the wall. Okay? Invest. You got to get out and make the ask. So we're going to get to the ask in a second. I will say that this is the greatest thing you'll ever get in your life. Any development officer, shoot me a text or shoot me an email or call me up and say, Harry, you were right. I can't believe it. I was sitting down at my desk and I can't believe it. Someone left us in their will. There is no greater feeling. The old saying, where there's a will, there's a family. And then you. You want to be in that pecking order. Right? You want them to be institutionalized. You want them to go through the following rotation. You want them to go from volunteer to committee to board to emeritus board to will. That's the true science of advancement right there. Okay? Volunteer committee, board, emeritus board, where you don't let your board members go away. And then institutionalized through will. You want their name on a hall. You want your name over your development office. I ran a capital campaign one time, and this man did that. He went through boom, 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 and he was the chairman of this capital campaign. And I said, Mr. Shields, you're making a lead gift for the campaign. Where do you want your name? He said, I want it over the men's bathroom in the main hallway. He goes, because everybody has always said I'm just full of crap. And you know what? We named the Tim Shields restroom. And I've never seen a man get so much, just a charge of his life. He would go to basketball games just to be standing out in front of his bathroom. Right? Institutionalized. Okay. So, we're going to keep going here on fundraising versus fundraising and where we're at in that, right? So there's your line of demarcation. Now here we are on raising money. Well, if we look at the eye spectrum, it kind of walks hand in glove into, I didn't write them all down. You guys know them. You're all professionals. But you start off with, every development committee, somebody's going to put their hand up and say, why don't we have a 30-second PSA? Every time I drive to work, I hear about Cars for Kids and that silly song. PSAs are great.
What's a PSA?
Public service announcement.
Sorry.
It's all right. They're free. It's the law. They have to give away certain amounts of seconds a day. Do it. Put together a little script. You can ask them to have a DJ voice do it if you want that. The lead voice in Cleveland, I am convinced at this point in time, and I'm turning him off now, is Mark Nolan. If I hear Mark Nolan's voice one more time, PSAs, you might get 2 cents on the dollar back on that. You're doing it to raise friends. I've never known anybody to pull off exit 37 and say, I've got to get my gift in. Okay? About that. If. Then there's the next one, and this is kind of faded, but it's still there. The poorly photocopied, bad signatured, whited out of date. That's about 5 cents return, if. Sometimes there's even the bad letter that's even just circulating in the neighborhood. You find it in the back of the church pew, and the pastor's kind of going, how did this get in the back of the church pew, right? The kid that they pay $20, get on his bike and ride around the neighborhood and stuff it in mailboxes. And you're sitting there going, why is the post office sending me a penalty letter here for violating my nonprofit status? You're not allowed to stuff mailboxes. Bad letter, about a nickel maybe. Here's the buzz right now. This is it. Everybody's going to be sitting on a committee. Everybody's going to be in a board meeting. And oh boy, they're going to say, hey, what's the sizzle on our donate now button, man? Come on, talk to me. What's our hit rate? And they start throwing all these stinking, lousy millennial words out there. I'm old. A donate now button for me when I was a kid was the front doorbell. That was the donate now button. All right? But tech is now where we're starting to get into that's below 27 cents. Here's your tech. If you stay true to your donate now button, if you start having social media within your junior board, it's for real, folks. You can get more done with one person on your junior board with her influencer status. It's for real. It's not going away. Spend time on this. Have a subcommittee of your development committee attached to tech. You have to have it. You could run an entire campaign just online, not a drop of mail, not a phone call made, not an event. You could do the whole thing online and be very successful. Yes, sir.
Question for you. So people send out annual fund letters in December, November, December. I have a stack of them that I kept to compare them to what we do at Life Act. I said to our CEO, we should do this as a digital so that, as I meet people, I could send, I don't have to go back to the printer and put a stamp and, whatever. I'm just curious how many people here, when you do annual fund, do you do old school, just mail it, or do you do things online or email? How do you do that?
Raise your hand if you do a November, December, end of year ask online.
Or should say, by mail, or
Oh, by mail.
by mail. And
We
then,
did a by mail, we did both last year.
Okay.
And, we did by mail, and we've decided this year not to do by mail anymore because we weren't getting,
were you getting anything from online?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it depends on your constituents.
Okay.
Ours are older folks.
Okay.
A lot of times have been involved with the organization, so they still send in physical checks.
okay.
They don't go online. We did get, we do get online gifts throughout the year, but we already actually.
So you send it, so the annual
Yep.
fund letter,
We do both.
but you have both, okay.
Yeah. We do, we have constant contact, so we send this back.
Okay.
So it's.
Create your plans according to your constituency.
I think that's exactly.
Know your constituency. If I were running an annual fund right now for a school, I would not send a piece of paper to anybody from the class of 1985 and above. My life with them would be electronic, electronic, electronic. 1985 and below, those old folks like paper. Okay? Let's be real. Know your constituency. I'm not going to point out anybody who is nodding. Here's your bucket for those of you who think that all things take place in the world of special events in either small group or large group settings. And the answer is they can be fundraisers and fundraisers long as you keep in mind that you're going to tell everybody, I'm spending money to raise friends here. I'm having a ladies' tea. I'm inviting 100 women, and we're going to have someone present to them from the Planned Giving Society, Women Outlive Men. If you don't have a women's tea in your shooting gallery, you're missing the boat. You bring 100 women together, tell them to bring their granddaughter, no men. And you have someone step up and do a soft presentation on the importance of planned giving. I guarantee you, you will get a planned gift out of that visit. They will go back, they'll think about it. Special events can be fundraisers, and they can have a long-term payoff. All I'm asking you to do is keep in mind why you're raising the friends, why are you raising the funds. Funds take care of immediate need. Lots of time fundraisers take care of long-term need. I'm trying to load your gun here for committee meetings, for board meetings, for sitting down with staff and directing why this year in our strategic plan, we're putting more of our emphasis on this. We're taking some of this back, okay? Be really concise, be focused, rifle approach as to why you're spending time. And that brings up the last thing that I wanted to cover for you today. Everybody, so we have covered 1, 2, let's go to 3. Page 3. What do the quiet costs tell us? So this is all about ROI. Let's not kid ourselves. We are in the nonprofit world. That doesn't mean that we don't make money. Our job is to make money so that we can take care of mission. So I'm going to read this real quick for you. Not all of it, but your organization advances on the strength of 3 building blocks. What are they?
Mission-driven, constituent sensitivity, and fiscally responsible.
That's right. Get those tattooed on your left forearm. Take those 3, go back to your office, photocopy those, laminate them, and hang them over your door. Anybody that ever worked for me knew those 3 like that. All of our decisions are made according to that. All right, when we look at the art and science of raising funds, we need to keep in mind a number of things. One of the quiet topics often neglected are the quiet costs. When you lead an organization, you need to make sure you keep in mind quiet costs. It is critical to keep in mind these 3 things. Are the efforts going towards fundraising or fundraising? Number 2, are we concentrating on the musts? In our last time together, we said, nice twos are fine. Bring them into the pipeline. But no, you don't get to those nice twos until you accomplish the musts. Every one of you should go back to your desk today and write down what are the 5 musts that have to occur today. Not the nice twos. Not Aunt Genevieve's pickle sauce raffle in May. What are the musts that have to occur? You should have a staff meeting immediately and make sure that those folks know that your 5 musts are and what are their 5 musts. Is our team configured correctly? Holy smokes, I can't tell you how many times I've been in, as a consultant, been into a meeting and I look around and basically it's a director of development and 7 special event people. Well, what do you do? I kind of touch the website, but what do you do? I'm in special events. Okay, what do you do? I kind of do special events and sometimes I write thank you letters. Oh, okay. Is the staff configured? We don't have the ability anymore to have 20 people on our staff. We have to do far more with less. And you better make sure that the people wearing those hats know what their jobs are. And those roles and responsibilities come directly off of this sheet. Okay, the development director, this is just for, hey, I was a history teacher. This is as far as my math goes. If we have a director of development making $50,000 annually, kind of in the ballpark, that's $35 an hour. Therefore, if you take your top down, okay, top down org chart, that means your ED, every time you ask your ED to do something for the development office, that's costing the organization $110 an hour. Oh, God, I never thought about that when I asked him to sign 37 letters and make 48 phone calls. I'd rather him taking someone to lunch asking for $1 million. Okay? You got a VP, they're coming at you at $85 an hour. Your assistant, the manager's at $35 an hour. Your assistant's at $20 an hour. And there's your volunteers. Give them their soft 15. Here's now where you get crazy. Some of you who are type A people and like spreadsheets, plug these rates into a spreadsheet utilizing the hourly approximation to staff to the activity. So, I'm coming back now. People give because they love the mission. People give because they believe in the leadership. And people give because they think you're fiscally responsible. First thing, leadership activities. If they believe in the leadership, you better have dollars attached to leadership. It costs money to go to committee meetings. You don't need to have your board chair and your ED sitting in every committee meeting unless they like meetings. I worked for a particular ED who liked to be present at everything. Great. Board meetings, public engagements, emails, calls, letters. Put your ratios on there. Put the ratios on according to your solicitation guide. Your PSA, you want your ED because he's known all over or she's known all over your region. That's going to be 2 hours, taping her voice and making sure that it's good. You got to book it. That was a $220 investment. Mission-centric activities. Who on the staff goes to classes? Make sure the doors are open. If nobody in the development office is engaged in classes, does anything with regard to deliveries in the building, but has something to do with alumni or past participants, you got to put that ratio on there. Raise funds. Who's involved with special activities? A gala has all of the people listed above in some way, shape, or token on there. They're all there. So when you make your report on expenses, keep in mind, it costs the organization the following at an hourly rate. Raise friends, events and meetings. True work activities. Okay, so now I'm going to be Clint Eastwood and get off my lawn guy. Sorry, comes with being 68. You know, I'm that, by the way, I am that embodiment of what you see in the posters all over. I am the pale, male, and stale individual, okay? Your team has to have a very clear understanding. Non-for-profits have got to be able to say that we are fiscally responsible. And I got to tell you, I've walked through non-for-profits and I've walked down hallways and I've often thought to myself, what the hell does that person do? I'd like to go in and ask them, what do you do? I know you get coffee and you walk the whole hallway and you make sure everybody's got the spread on the next Browns game. But what do you do? True work activities. You should have a weekly report of what they did. You want to tighten somebody up? Ask for a weekly report on what they did that week. And no creative writing. You want metrics. I called 13 people. Okay? Timely follow-up. You want to be back copied on all follow-up. Number one, it gives you a chance to see their writing style, how well they know the person. But more importantly, it gives you a speaking point for when you're out in public and you could say, hey, by the way, Tom, that was a fantastic gift to the library. Thanks so much. Timely follow-up. A timely follow-up, by the way, is built on the culture of your office. When a gift comes across the transom, it should be processed within 48 hours, and a thank you should go out 48 hours later. No more than 4 days. No more. Interdepartmental coordination. It's amazing how many times you walk into a place and the development office doesn't talk to the mission operators. You just come in the other door. You do your job. Your job is to make sure that the payroll gets paid, that the lights stay on. No. They need to know what you do because they see you come in the other door. And what do they do down there? Are they development anymore? Are they advancement? Or what's the greatest name right now for what they do? Interdepartmental coordination. I would go back to your office right now and ask for a monthly meeting. What are you doing? Here's what we're doing. Where can we find synergy? It's amazing how many times the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. I was at an organization, ladies and gentlemen, that was holding a special event, and the athletic director scheduled a JV basketball game for the gym. Here come the volunteers, ready to go. Tape, streamers, signage, bouquets of flowers. They look in the door. They're warming up. What's going on? Interdepartmental coordination is very important. And then, hey, please make sure that your office is ready to run professionally. The worst thing in the world is sending out 3,000 pieces of mail to the post office and your indicia isn't paid for. And then, God dang it, you got to get skippy with the van and you got to go back down and you got to pick up the box of mail and you're missing your deadline. Please be professional. Have all your supplies ready to go. Have your records ready to go. Records are the key to life against the IRS. If you want to see Sheila start twitching, talk about non-compliance. Grantors thrive on compliance. They love giving you the gift, but they love compliance because it tells them our gift really is paying off. And they're doing what? Foundations love these three. Foundations hate going into a place. I ran a foundation. Program officers would come back to me and say, you would not believe what I just saw. You know that garden they said they were going to build? Not a flower in the ground. Records and coverage. Coverage. Talk to each other. I'm going to be gone on Thursday and Friday. Would you mind if I forwarded my phone because I'm waiting for a call from a donor? You don't want a donor calling your office and hearing ring, ring, ring. I had a donor at a school that I ran become so frustrated, he gave us a new phone system. Time was everything for him. And if he had to call one more time and get ring, 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 he was going to lose his mind. He bought us a new phone system. I don't approve that as a solicitation technique. The last page in your documents, you gotta be professional. Have an event report. If you want to stop nonsense questions from occurring in a committee meeting, have a professional report. If you want to sit down with somebody and ask them to be the chair of the next year's event, have a professional report. If you want to make sure that when you're putting the annual report together, have a professional report. I can't tell you how many times I go into places and special events are done on a Friday and it's just camp run amok. It's like you go in and you open the door to the advancement office and there's just crap everywhere. It's like unopened champagne bottles and name tags astrew and programs. It's like, yeehaw, we got that out of the way. That's 80% of the work is done there. 20% still exists. That's an example of a report. It's also an example for you to sit down with your committee. The devil is in the detail, folks. The devil is in the detail. Always hire a type A to run your events, not a type B. Look at all the things you got to keep in mind. For the love of God. Unions. I held a special event in Chicago and they wouldn't let us in until we paid the union fee. We had to pay for the union to open the door. I wasn't ready for that. All of this stuff. It's the devil's in the detail. Why is that important for today's topic? Your event report is going to allow you to answer the question back to your development committee, back to your board, back to your boss, whether it was a fundraiser or a fundraiser, right? And that's it at 1 o'clock.